Hello. I'm not going to talk about what I planned to talk about today because I've been interrupted these past couple of days. First by 3 things that I've read, and yesterday by a university research day, which was very enjoyable, but I wasn't able to get any writing done. I'd anticipated the research day, and I'd recorded my podcast about fountain pens in advance. But it's those 3 things I read and my reaction to them that I think I kind of have to talk about today. They were all, these 3 statements of the same information, and I'll take them in the order they hit me. First was Roger Hallam's blog from his prison notebook here on Substack. I'm going to include links for everything. The title of the blog is The Elite Death Project, Why Capitalism is Choosing Collapse. Roger Hallam was one of the founders, several founders of Extinction Rebellion, XR, and possibly one of the chief strategists, his idea of change. This is what he says about the Elite Death Project. The repeated historical pattern of elites knowingly destroying the very systems they depend on, from late Rome to pre-revolutionary Europe to today's fossil economy, fits this psychological picture far better than any rational actor model. What we are seeing is not rational self-interest, but the death wish operating on a civilizational scale. So, I read that. How do I work after that? Why do I do a blog about pencils or pens? Well, I'll try and explain. The second thing that interrupted me was this paragraph on page 14 of Anna Kornbluh's book, Immediacy, or the Style of Too Late Capitalism. Blur, immersion, presence. Too late is no longer merely late. The material corollary of this stylized time is the inevitable environmental ruin wreaked by undead zombie capitalism. It is too late. Ecocide has already taken place. Lethal deluges, catastrophic droughts, and heat death are already baked into our future. A small number of hyper-consuming billionaires, their oligarchic plutocratic enablers, and syndicates of lumpen McShoppers have irreparably degraded the planet, ergo billions of people will be displaced and killed. And the third interruption was this news article in The Guardian by Fiona Harvey, environmental editor, and that came out yesterday evening. Headline: Biodiversity collapse threatens UK security, intelligence chiefs warn. And here's the nub of it. The increasingly likely collapse of vitally important natural systems would bring mass migration, food shortages and price rises, and global disorder. I think that's understating it. You don't want to hear this. I don't want to hear this either. I want it to be something can be done to fix. I would like it to be something I can ethically and conscionably ignore. But it's not. Whether you or I pay full attention to this scientifically founded projection into the future, a future that certainly won't come into being exactly as described in these 3 things, then what? This is the interruption you've just heard. That's where it stops. That's where thinking stops and writing about pens and pencils can start to seem pretty trivial. In this context, with this as the prognosis, and with the terror and rage and apathy and bewilderment this knowledge brings, how do we keep going? And why do we keep going? Maybe you're listening today in hopes of hearing something about pencils, pens, the means of production. But with these 3 recent things I read, I don't feel I can stick to pencils today. Or rather, When I do get onto pencils, which I will tomorrow, I promise, I'm doing it as a small act I've decided is still worthwhile. I'm doing it to continue after interruption. Choosing a fountain pen over a disposable biro is a tiny, almost meaningless gesture towards being a less destructive creature. Tiny and almost meaningless. It should be, in my opinion, accompanied in some way by obstructive political action of the sort Roger Hallam describes, whatever form that might take. Anna Kornbluh writes, "Art forms and theory alike demand the slow and uncertain work of making sense, countering immediacy with mediation. By talking, or trying to talk calmly, gently, patiently, about pens and pencils, as the means of production, as the material basis of writing, I'm trying to stay with the trouble of mediation." A final sentence from Anna Kornbluh. Prolonged attention, belaboured descriptions, and counterintuitive pattern recognition will, one hopes, withdraw from immersiveness. So, how do you cope with interruptions of this kind of sort, of panic about global stuff? Do you set it aside consciously? Do you cocoon yourself in some form of comfort? Do you carry on whilst making that your subject, either on the surface or beneath the surface? Let me know. Please like, share and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon.